This is Chef Poul. Welcome to Poul's Kitchen. Today we're going to be doing a video on orange chicken. Today I got Amy with me. Alex is all the way up and God only knows where with his parents for Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's Canadian Thanksgiving coming. And we're going to be doing a video on socks later, so look forward to that. And before we get going, say hi, Amy.
Hi.
And this is our orange chicken. Stay tuned and take a good look at it. So Amy, take a small bite there. It's your dinner tonight. What do you think?
Very flavorful.
Now, one thing I didn't put in the video, and I probably should have, you can add one more little thing, and that's hot sauce. It isn't appropriate in this dish. You don't have to, but you can. Try a little bit of the rice, Amy. How is it?
Really good because it's been sitting.
It's good. The longer you let rice sit before you start cooking it or before you start eating it, it's always going to be better. Washed, cleaned, and then cooked, set all day. So please stay tuned. Thanks for joining in. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Please enjoy. Welcome to Poul's Kitchen. This is Chef Poul. With me today is Chef Amy.
Hi.
We don't have Chef Alex. He's home for the holidays today, for the week actually, so unfortunately we don't have him. But we do have Amy for a brief moment because she's got to go to work tonight, so it is what it is. Today we're going to do some orange chicken, Chinese orange chicken, so it's going to be really great. So please hit the like, share, subscribe. We're going to start off with some florets of some broccoli. I used one thing of broccoli, and what we're going to do is we're going to steam it. So I've got some water and a boiling frying pan. So I'm going to set that over there. And the goal here is to steam this with a cover, and you should be fine. You just need to make sure there's always water there. So my cover that I'm going to use is tinfoil. Should work good enough. This is a shout out to my buddy Dennis. Good news, his family member, I'm not going to say who, but most of you don't know him. He's never been on the video and probably never going to be either because he's from Holland. So not very likely he'll ever get here. But he's had a lot of issues. Things are starting to come around and they've been pretty nasty issues. So we're just happy that he's doing much better. So I used a whole chicken. Now, you can actually, if you want, you can actually use chicken breast, chicken thighs, whatever you want to use. I'm not going to go too crazy with spice. I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper, or salt, pardon. This is low salt. And then I'm going to use some pepper. Now, with that being said, you got to keep an eye on this. That's going to go for 5 minutes.
Put a timer on.
Don't need to.
Okay.
And if it cooks a little bit more, it's not a big deal. It's not going to finish cooking in that. We're going to take that off, and it's going to cook with us when we're ready for it. So now we're going to take some cornstarch. We're not deep frying. We don't deep fry anything here. Deep frying is garbage. We're using a whole chicken. We butchered the whole thing, and I did a horrible job. If I actually did this properly and better, I would have had chunks. So next time I probably use chicken breast. But the good part about it is Amy likes to use the bones and the rest of it for making chicken noodle soup. And there's still quite a bit there. So we want to make sure that we're actually incorporating quite a bit of cornstarch in this. So it's pretty covered. It'll help. It will actually physically help it fry and get a nice crispy coating. Does it have to be perfect? No, but it's almost the same as being deep fried. We're going to make the sauce in a totally separate thing. So when we take it out, it's going to go back in another pan, not this, because this is not, it's not what I trust for, I don't necessarily really trust it for putting really hot stuff in, but that's coming. So just keep an eye on this, make sure there's lots of water. If you don't, I mean, because it's steaming, the water will, if there's no water in there, it's going to start burning, it's going to go really soggy, it's not going to be a good thing. So you want to make sure that you're keeping water in there and cover. It's going to turn out really good. So I already killed one bird here. This is going to be a really good meal. So we're just going to wait 2 more minutes and this is going to be done. And I'm going to show you something really, really cool. A lot of people don't really know this or don't think about it, because when you're cooking, it's going to finish cooking, but we've got 1 more minute here. It's going to finish cooking, but if we don't do something to it, it's going to still be hot, and we're going to have another problem. It's going to keep cooking. We don't want it to keep cooking. It keeping cooking will be a really bad thing, because it's not going to be the best thing in the world for it. We don't want that. So we got to stop it cooking. Well, Poul, how do we stop it from cooking? I tell you, it's actually going to be really easy. And this is going to be a little trick here. I put lots of water in here, so we're fine. But you don't have to put a lot of water in, but just pay attention to what you're doing, because you really need to pay attention here. This can be really seriously harmful to you if you don't. So we're just waiting for the clock to tick that one last minute, and it did. So I'm going to turn the heat off, even though I'm going to be putting it right back on in another minute or so. Not a big deal. Alright, so I'm going to take that off here. I'm going to put on a cooler thing here. Now, how do you stop the cooking? Some people say you have to submerge it in ice bath. You don't. Just rinse it with water until it's all cleaned out. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to leave this in here because we're going to need it in a bit when we're ready for the broccoli, because for now I'm going to totally submerge it in cold water. It's going to guarantee that it's going to totally stop cooking, and it will make it much better. Alright, so now we're ready for some chicken. Anybody like chicken? You like chicken?
Yes.
I haven't eaten since breakfast. I'm a little hungry, so let's go and get this done. Yeah, I'm diabetic, and that was a stupid thing to do, but I had a really big breakfast this morning. Just wasn't into it today. It is what it is. Now, when you're doing a whole chicken, I need you to realize that one of the really unfortunate parts about it is you're not going to get a huge serving out of it. You're just not. It's unfortunate, but you're just not going to get a huge serving, and that's fine. You just got to realize that that it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook this until this is nice and crispy. When this is nice and crispy, we're going to come back and we're going to start on the stir-fried rice. But the orange sauce is going to be last. Believe it or not, it is going to be last. But we'll get to that very soon. So we'll be back as soon as this is done. And again, guys, if you haven't hit that like, share, subscribe button, it really helps us out. We appreciate it. Please hit that like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back. We're back. So we've got that part of it done now. So now we're going to take our broccoli. We're going to drain. I've already taken the heat off here because we don't really need the heat anymore. So I'm going to mix this up just a little bit.
That broccoli looks really good.
So I'm just going to add that, or set that right there. Now you want to make sure that's fully cooked. If it's not fully cooked, you're going to have some problems. So you don't want that. So now we're going to start working on our fried, on our we're going to start working on our fried rice. Pardon. Now, if you have the steamer and you'd rather use that to do the broccoli, be my guest. You can definitely do that. It's not a big deal. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So I'm going to take this here. I'm going to add some more oil. Seems like we're turning that off and on way too much.
We should have left it on.
So I don't need this to be like so, I don't know the right way to say this. I don't need this to be visible chunks. It's not a big deal. So I got one onion. I got a couple things of celery. I'm gonna make this really small. And then some mushrooms. Not the kind that Amy normally likes.
No, I like these ones.
Put that on here. And you know what? I'm not even going to really spice this up that much. Don't really feel like it. I don't think it's that necessary. So we're just going to keep an eye on this here. I mean, could it possibly?
Not quite.
Not quite. But it's almost there. So, I mean, get a good food processor. This is saves you a lot of time. Yeah. And to me, I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, that's pretty darn good to me. I mean,
That took 10 seconds.
it didn't even take that. Probably took 3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick this in here. Probably chopped up way too much. So I don't need this. So we're not going to waste this. This, you can put the rest of this in eggs.
Yeah.
Make some scrambled eggs, some stuff there. That will work really good. Now this is rice that's been sitting in there for quite a while. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch some other videos. They're all in history. But with rice, you put it in a strainer, wash it for a couple minutes until the water comes out clear, and then make your rice. I'm using a rice cooker if you don't own one. I don't know why you don't, but pick one up because they're because it's worth every penny. And as far as the worst part about making this dish is the prep time. I mean, how long did it, I mean, has it really that painful to, was it really that painful to cook the chicken, Amy?
No.
It didn't take very long. It comes together really good. Now, I've seen a lot of people start to say, I don't like making rice anymore because I get enough protein with the chicken, and yeah, I see your point, but sometimes it's better to save your money a little bit and add the rice so so you can make another meal out of it. Not, load yourself up with meat because you need to have other stuff.
Yeah.
So a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. There we go. Now, if you're cooking this from scratch, like you haven't used a rice cooker, you haven't actually made the rice yet, then the best thing about making Chinese style rice, if you want to add a can of corn to it, you can. You can pretty much add anything else. If you want really good, authentic Chinese fried rice, you can get that frozen veggie bag. Corn, beans, peas, and other stuff.
I think it's called Chinese blend, isn't it?
It might be. But it's not a bad thing to have. It really isn't. But, I mean, that's all you're doing here. Basically, I don't want to overcook this too much, and I'm not adding soy sauce to it. You can do that later if you want, but I just don't feel the need for it.
We don't eat it with the sauce we're making.
No, you really don't. And again, adding too much sodium to something is just not a good thing. What I just used, I didn't really have to. It's not necessary, but I kind of like it. That's the only reason I did. But you don't need it. Too much salt will always cause you problems, so I mean it's just not worth doing. And believe it or not, this is not even going to take long because we're just making sure we're cooking the veggies, we're not trying to caramelize them, but the more you cook them, you're going to notice the mushrooms are going to start shrinking, so we don't want to go too crazy with this, and this is pretty much done. So we got one more step. What do you think that is, Amy?
The sauce.
What type of sauce?
Orange.
You got it. So we'll be back. We just got to do a little bit of prep work. I got to do some things with Amy first, and then we'll be back, and we're almost ready to go. Welcome back. So now we're getting ready for the sauce, and this is going to be the fun part here. Not even being sarcastic. So I've got 2 cups of orange juice. I'm going to slowly pour that in here so we don't make a huge mess. I know that disappoints Amy, but...
No.
So I want 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. It's almost like we're making a slurry, and that's fine. And that should be about 2 total. Now before you go any further, crap. I'm gonna put this over here. You're gonna stir this really good so it's all incorporated in, because if you don't get it in, then it's like really no point in doing it. Now you notice how Amy made a little bit of a mess in there. I didn't see her do it, but I'm pretty sure it was her. But
no.
When you get a minute when you're done, you're gonna have to clean that. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a huge mess. So
You should clean it now. It's burning.
it's a little hard to go in there when we're actually cooking.
True.
So we're just gonna take our time here. And get that all mixed, because if you don't, some of this is going to stick to the bottom, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So, I don't know why we have that. That's apple cider vinegar. I need the rice wine vinegar.
Oh!
I
think it's in there, isn't it?
I'm going to put a good spoon in here and this is ginger and garlic. So we're going to make sure that we're Mixing it in. Now you can take ginger, mince it, put it through a food processor, get it really fine, almost like a puree. Same with your ginger. I find, especially for sauces like this, it's a little better to, it's better to actually get something like that that's already done, because it's a ginger garlic paste. It's already pasted for you. This is going to cook a lot better. Amy's thinking that I'm going to be using apple cider vinegar, and I'm not.
It's in there. I saw it.
And normally I use quite a bit of apple cider vinegar. Today I'm not. So I'm going to put a little bit of rice wine vinegar in here. Not a whole lot, just a good drip. Now you are going to need zest of an orange. Don't cook it with this. Don't ever do that, because it's going to go bitter. It's not going to taste that good. It's not a good idea. Now this is heated up a little bit more. Now it usually calls for sugar. How do I feel about sugar?
We don't like it.
No, we don't. So I'm going to use honey. I do want to give it a nice sweet taste, but I think we can do honey a little bit better than
sugar.
You can look at it, you know, the price of honey and say, oh, that's really expensive, Paul. I really don't want to do that. You know what?
It's worth it. You don't need very much.
You don't need a lot of it, and it lasts. We've had that for several months now, so it really is worth every penny. And then our last ingredient, we're going to put some soy sauce in here. This is a really messy soy sauce.
It is.
It's Dutch, which would explain the messiness.
No.
But it's also really sweet, and that's also explained by the Dutch. So we're going to stir that, and that's all we're putting in this. We're not going to put a whole lot. Yes, the soy sauce, depending on how much you put in, it's going to change the flavor. If it really bothers you, put a little bit more orange juice, put a little bit more cornstarch. But the fact that we're using honey doesn't help, and the type of soy sauce we're using isn't going to help. Mm-hmm. So if you use regular soy sauce, probably it's not going to be as intrusive. If you don't put a whole lot in, probably won't be that big of a deal. If you use regular sugar, it won't be so bad. Instead of honey, you can use stevia.
Yeah.
So we're going to cook this for another 4 minutes. And this is going to start reducing. And you're going to notice this as it comes in.
It's thickening.
And it's getting nice and thick now, actually.
It is.
You see it's starting to bubble up quite a bit. And it already has reduced. So, I mean, it's not... It doesn't take a whole lot.
No.
And we're almost done. Like, this honestly didn't take very long. In this recipe, the worst... And yeah, this is really getting thick. In this recipe, the worst thing that we had to go through here was literally the prep work. It took quite a bit of prep work. Now, real cooks taste their cooking. Oh yeah.
Doesn't need anything else?
No, it does not. Oh, it needs one more thing. But I think we're pretty much done here. It's thick enough for me. It looks good.
It looks thick.
It's very thick. Now this is a zest of 1 orange, and again, you want this off the heat before you put this in here, because if you continue cooking with this, it's going to cook the zest, and zest does not taste good. When it's been cooked, it really doesn't. Now that looks really good to me.
It does.
So let's give it a little taste here.
Taste test.
Oh yeah. Now, one thing you can do too, if you're somebody that has a sweet tooth and you really want this really, really sweet, one thing you can do is you can add a little bit of orange marmalade.
Yeah, that would work.
If you're diabetic, I'm not going to recommend it.
No.
Because I don't think I need to tell you why.
Sugar.
This is sugar content, but if you're not diabetic, you don't have that concern, it is definitely something you can do. So, I haven't dumped it all in. I did make a double dose because I want it to be really saucy today. I enjoy my sauce. How's that look, Amy?
Really good.
So that's it. So we got our fried rice here. I was going to say chicken fried rice, but it's not chicken fried rice because it's just fried rice. We got our orange chicken here. And we still have a little bit left over of the sauce. Now the only thing left is to give Amy a small little taste test because I'm not sharing. I'm joking. She's going to be taking hers to work with her today.
Yeah.
She's not eating at home. She's working grave shift. But the other part is Amy's got to put everything away and start cleaning dishes. What do you think, Amy?
Yep. It's worth it.
So I hope you guys like this. This looks nice and tender. Yes, it's not deep fried, so you don't have to worry about your cholesterol or whatever getting clogged up. And yeah, this is going to be way better. Awesome. So until next time, please hit that like, share, subscribe button, and thank you for coming to Paul's Kitchen.